Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global TV. I am Shehu Said. This news is coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. President Bola Tinubu has described the mother of the national chairman of the APC, late Lydia Nentawe, as a symbol of strong family values. He was speaking in Jos today at the funeral service of late Lydia at Kokin Church headquarters. The president described the death of Mama Lydia as a loss not only to Nentawe family but Plateau State and the nation at large. Tinubu prayed God to grant the deceased eternal rest and the family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. The funeral service was attended by Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Deputy Senate President Jibril Barrow, Secretary to the Government of the Federation George Akume, and ministers among dignitaries. Late Mama Lydia Nentawe died at the age of 78 after a protracted illness. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to building a safer and more secure nation for all citizens, with President Bola Tinubu assuring that security remains central to the renewed hope agenda. The president made this known at the 60th birthday and book launch of former Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabo in Abuja. Represented by the Minister of Defense Muhammad Badr Abubakar, President Tinubu describes the book Scars, Nigeria's Journey and the Boko Haram Conundrum as an insightful work on Nigeria's security challenges. The event also featured remarks by former Presidents Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, who called for fresh thinking in the fight against terrorism, while the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, stressed that defeating insurgency requires unity, education, and strong family values. In the meantime, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, and the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, Matthew Kuka, have called on Nigerians to put aside religious differences and work together for peace and good governance. Speaking at the launch of General Lucky Irabo's book, Scars, Nigeria's Journey and the Boko Haram Conundrum in Abuja, the Sultan cautioned against misconceptions about Islam, stressing that the religion promotes justice and condemns extremism. Bishop Kuka, in his address, urged religious and political leaders to respect boundaries and avoid manipulating faith for political gain, warning that extremism poses a great threat to national unity. To health matters now, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has in its situation report for epidemiological week 38 confirmed that Lassa fever killed 168 people across 21 states in 2025, with 897 confirmed cases out of 4,543 suspected and a case fatality rate of 18.7%. The agency identified Ondo, Edo, Taraba, and Bauchi as the epicenters of the outbreak, jointly accounting for 67% of infections, and warned that the most affected age group, 21 to 40 years, represents Nigeria's most active and exposed population. The NCDC said it is enhancing surveillance, expanding diagnostic capacity, and sensitizing communities on hygiene and rodent control, noting that early presentation at treatment centers greatly improves survival chances. Benue State is taking bold steps to reclaim its pride as Nigeria's food basket. The government has flagged off a mechanized farming pilot scheme at the Bureau for Agricultural Development and Mechanization headquarters in Makurdi. Felicity Indire reports.
Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia reaffirmed his administration's commitment to food security.
To present this first key to the President of the Benue State Farmers Cooperative Federation.
The governor, who was represented by his deputy, Sam Odi, says the project will drive prosperity and make mechanization more accessible to local farmers.
We recognize that food security is a national security factor, and under this government, Benue will play its full role in safeguarding both of these factors.
Private partners, including Mars International and Sabas Park International Limited, are also on board with plans to establish a tractor assembly and innovation hub in the state.
Benue to establish an assembly line for agricultural machineries, which we can train operators and mechanics. Also, to provide the plausible payment of equipment to the farmers.
Our focus is to revolutionize the farming process of the state into an agri-business. Hence the name Benue Agri-Business Mechanization Center, for which all our farmers sitting down here are benefiting today.
Farmers, while appreciating the governor's intervention, noted the risk of farming without proper tools and appealed for more assistance to sustain the shift to mechanized agriculture.
And His Excellency visit farmers today is to show love and stampede all forms of stagnant development. On behalf of the Benue Cooperative Farmers Federation, to appeal to you that we Benue farmers in Benue State have really desirous to go into mechanized farming. The challenges we have is lack of funds. You're coming here today, we believe that you will use your good office and subsidize these tractors and other farm inputs for Benue farmers.
The pilot scheme is designed to strengthen cooperatives, create jobs, and boost food production, with plans already on the way to expand mechanization to more clusters in the near future. In Makudi, Felicity Ndere, reporting for Global Television News.
Chairman, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Musa Aliu, has charged anti-graft agencies, civil society organizations, and media organizations to collaborate and ensure transparency in governance at all levels to move the nation forward. He made the call at the Nigerian Local Government Integrity Index presentation by the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity in Abuja. Ramsey Enoch Agbo was there for Global Television.
Transparency and accountability at the grassroots took center stage in Abuja as the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Musa Aliu, stressed the need for transparency at the 774 local governments in Nigeria, so as to ensure constitutional democracy to the people.
We will look our mandates and see how we will come in and support local government to deliver the services to our people. Because we know that Section 7 of the Constitution has clearly provided that local government council should be governed by democratically elected officials. And there will be no democracy if there is no transparency and accountability.
The executive director of the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, Umar Yakubu, highlighted concern raised since the Supreme Court's ruling of July 2024 on whether local governments truly receive their allocations directly and how the funds are being utilized.
Yeah, basically since the Supreme Court judgment of 2024 in July, nobody really knows what to do with the local governments. And there are too many speculations about whether they are receiving their finances directly or they are not. And as you may recall, we had a program earlier in the year together with Agora Policy on whether these things have been happening. And from the evidence we have, we don't think they have been receiving their funds directly for several reasons. But that aside, we believe the local government, the data shows that the governance structures there are very weak, and there needs to be a lot of enhancement of trainings and capacity building so that they can deliver the dividends of democracy and enhance good governance.
Also speaking, the special advisor to the chairman of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, Chris Owadoka, emphasized the importance of fiscal discipline and accountability at the local government level.
Fiscal transparency is critical for progress in the local governments. As local governments are beginning to enjoy financial and fiscal autonomy, it is necessary that their activities be visible. Their fiscal, financial activities be visible to all.
Speakers agreed that local government, being the closest tier of government to the people, must demonstrate transparency and accountability in order to deliver good governance and dividends of democracy to Nigerians at the grassroots. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
Now talking education, Nigeria's higher education system continues to grapple with sharp divides between public and private universities. While public institutions remain the main access point for most students, private universities are rising fast, offering new opportunities, but also raising questions about affordability and equity. Education correspondent Priscilla Obasi reports.
Nigeria has over 270 universities, with public institutions dominating student enrollment and private universities rising rapidly. But the two face very different realities. In public universities, students face frequent academic disruptions from strikes, dilapidated facilities, and overstretched lecturers. Private universities, on the other hand, boast of stable calendars, smaller classes, and modern facilities, but their high tuition fees keep them out of reach for many families.
But for me, I prefer private university because all those wahala for public university, I try to avoid it. Even my son, I can't allow him to go to government university, Gaskia.
With over 2 million candidates seeking admission yearly, stakeholders believe that bridging the divide will require government investment in public schools as well as a stronger collaboration with private institutions to expand access, research, and innovation.
If I have the opportunity, I'll go to private now. I don't want to go for government because now government primary school I attend and secondary school. Waiting the teachers here, no go say they teach for private school.
They both have their advantages, but for me personally, I prefer private universities.
Why?
Because as there will still be some eyes on you, because public or government universities, there's, how will I put it, maybe too much freedom, or our private universities, their teachers and lecturers will still have some eyes on you.
At the heart of the debate is one question: how can Nigeria ensure equity, quality, and opportunity in higher education for all? Priscilla Obasi, Global Television News, Abuja.
And the debate over soft copy and hard copy continues to shape conversations about reading habits in Nigeria. Many argue that nothing beats the feel and discipline of hard copy reading. Again, Priscilla Obasi reports.
For years, reading culture in Nigeria has been described as dying, with distractions from technology blamed for reducing how much young people read. Yet, the same technology has also created wider access to books through e-libraries, e-books, and study material.
Gen Z love reading online. You see them with their phones and the rest. But in my own opinions, because that was what I was born into, and I saw it that reading physically, yes, is the best option. I still subscribe for physical reading. Thank you.
I prefer reading on my phone. Why? It seems easier that way. Especially when if I'm free and on my phone, it's easier for me to get it because I'm always with my phone. I don't know, maybe because of my age and everything, I'm not just a fan of hard copy. I just feel like it's better on my phone.
Some readers argue that digital platforms are convenient and cost-effective, especially for students and professionals who cannot afford the rising cost of printed books. Others, however, insist that hard copies give deeper concentration, less distraction, and build better retention.
I prefer reading from a hard copy book because I can still make reference to it.
Education experts warn that beyond the format, the bigger challenge is encouraging Nigerians, especially young people, to read for knowledge and not just for exams. In a country where literacy is vital for national development, The real test may not be whether we choose soft copy or hard copy, but whether we are reading at all. Priscilla Obasi, Global Television News, Abuja.
On to security matters, Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State has deployed troops and local vigilantes to Kirawa in Goza local government area following the withdrawal of Cameroonian forces and renewed Boko Haram attacks in the town. During an assessment visit, the governor expressed concern about the incessant assaults which left residents dead and homes destroyed. While holding security talks with the theater commander and the multinational joint task force leadership, the governor commended the chief of army staff for his swift intervention and stressed the need for sustained operations, followed by recovery, reconstruction, and resettlement efforts in line with the United Nations Stabilization Guidelines. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has warned permanent secretaries who acted outside civil service norms during the period of emergency rule that they will be held accountable for their conduct. Speaking at the swearing-in of Austin Ezekiel Hart as a permanent secretary in Port Harcourt, the governor said the appointment was based purely on merit and professionalism. He reaffirmed his commitment to due process and urged officials to resist any form of pressure to compromise civil service ethics, assuring that his administration will be judged by its actions rather than words. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, federal government Meta to settle alleged 32 million privacy sanction out of court. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Let's talk business. The federal government and Meta Platforms Incorporated, owners of Facebook and Instagram, have agreed to an out-of-court settlement of a $32.8 million fine imposed for alleged data privacy violations involving Nigerian users. The Nigeria Data Protection Commission had fined Meta in February for using Nigerians' personal data for behavioral advertising without consent, but both parties informed the Federal High Court in Abuja that talks have reached an advanced stage. Justice James Omotosho adjourned proceedings to allow the parties conclude settlement terms following Meta's plea that a pending ruling could affect ongoing negotiations. And we go to the foreign scene. Chad's parliament has approved a constitutional amendment removing presidential term limits and extending mandates from 5 to 7 years, a move widely criticized as authoritarian. The reform, championed by President Muhammad Idris Deby Itno's ruling Patriotic Salvation Movement, passed with 236 votes out of 257, which allows Deby indefinite re-election when his current term ends. Opposition lawmakers boycotted the vote, calling it unconstitutional, while critics warn that it consolidates power around Deby, who took office after his father's death in 2021 and was formally elected last year. And in faraway Japan, Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party has elected 64-year-old Sanae Takaichi as its new leader, positioning her to become the country's first female prime minister. Takaichi is a staunch conservative known for opposing same-sex marriage and women keeping their maiden names after marriage, while pledging to revive former Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's economic reforms and strengthening Japan's defense posture. She faces daunting tasks, including uniting a divided party, tackling inflation, sluggish wages, and navigating trade and security ties with the Trump administration. And we go to sports. Super Falcons forward Ifeoma Onumonu has announced her retirement from football after a 22-year career that spanned clubs in the United States, France, and Nigeria, including appearances at the Women's World Cup, Paris Olympics, and 2025 WAFCON. The 31-year-old described her exit as a natural conclusion to a lifelong passion, expressing gratitude to her teammates, coaches, and fans for their support throughout her journey. Onumonu, who played for Boston Breakers, Gotham FC, and Montpellier, said though her playing days are over, her love and commitment to the game will remain unshaken. And the first phase of the 2025 Controller General of Customs Volleyball Premier League has rounded off in Abuja with thrilling displays of talent and grit. President of the Nigeria Volleyball Federation, Musa Nimrod, says the competition has raised the profile of the sport while attracting global interest. Anete Patrick reports.
It was a carnival of spikes, blocks, and powerful serves as the curtains fell on the first phase of the 2025 CGC Volleyball Premier League. President of the Nigerian Volleyball Federation, Engineer Musa Nimrod, was full of praise for the standard of play and organization. He praised the light that young Nigerian players are now stepping up to international attention. Nimrod also commended the Nigerian Customs Service, saying their support has allowed the Federation to focus on development and grassroots programs.
No more overage players again. These are young players. And I want to tell you that a lot of countries are looking, scouts are coming to pick these young players out of Nigeria. So I'm happy about that.
In the men's fixtures, USEM defeated Nigerian Police, Chief of Army Staff Spikers, Edge Kanu Pillars, while Correctional Service stunned NSCDC in a 5-set thriller. Nigeria Customs swept Sunshine Spikers, Kada Kings outlasted the Air Force, and CNS dominated Offa. In the women's category, Ola Lomi Queens, Chief of Army Staff Spikers, NSCDC, Kada Queens, and Nigerian Customs all recorded important victories. At the end of the first phase, CNS sits on top of the men's table with 29 points, closely followed by Customs and NSCDC, while Nigeria Air Force and Kada Kings are in the relegation zone. In the women's standing, Nigerian Customs dominates with 33 points, NSCDC and CNS trail behind, while Wiki and Delta Force face relegation worries. Board member Chinedu Onikeku admitted there were lapses but expressed optimism ahead of the next phase.
So far so good. I believe we are gradually getting there. We are not there yet. But this first phase has shown what the second phase will be. And I believe by second phase, things will get better. Though this first phase, there are some lapses. But we believe in second phase, we will be able to fix everything.
Samuel Onekeku, representing the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adeni, promised an improved final stage. He expressed satisfaction with the performance of the female team, which played 11 matches and won all.
Well, the first phase has gone well. We are happy that there are limited incidents. Well, you remember that about 2 months ago, we did some open selection trials to beef up our teams to prepare for the league. And we are very happy that it has gone well, that the female team has done well. The female team has played 11 matches and they've won all those matches.
For the coach of the Nigerian Customs female volleyball team, Suleiman Ajegbe, he expressed optimism ahead of the second phase of the 2025 CGC Volleyball Premier League.
We have not achieved what we were actually planning, because our plan is to ensure that Nigerian Customs Service female team are crowned the African Championship. Of course, before we're not talking about World Championship. Of course, I must say that whatever that happened in this first phase, it is still work in progress.
Meanwhile, attention now shifts to Umuahia Abia State for the Division 1 and 2 finals, with Nimrod assuring fans of more fireworks and long-term development for Nigerian volleyball. Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV.
And that ends Global TV News Cycle, but a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @globaltvng.I. I am Shehu Said saying thank you for being with us, and we hope to see you again later at 8 o'clock on Prime News.